I got out of here before most of you were born, I'm sorry to say, but there was a new law passed at that time, and housing policy was my interest. It was called Chapter 40B, and nobody knew what it was. And I wrote my thesis on it and followed the hearings in 1970, and 47 years later, I'm still in the front row dealing with this kind of issue. You'll hear a different story from me than you heard from the previous speaker. I've been involved with 300, of the 351 towns in Massachusetts, I've been in 180 of them and been involved with 18,000 units. And I have to say, almost have I heard all the stories up to date. I think I've heard most of the arguments. Here's what I heard in 1970 from abutters, neighbors, public officials, and all those people that came to the hearing. The things I heard then, very sad to say, have been repeated by their children and their grandchildren 47 years later. Apparently they all read the same book. Mixed income, higher density developments back then did not have a lot of data and studies to support what was going on. So there was a lot of issues about construction quality, long-term maintenance, disruption of unruly tenants, increased crime, traffic safety, too many kids in the schools, higher property taxes, and lower property values. All of those were constant themes, and they're still themes today. The problem is today, and the problem for what I see is that today we have hundreds of studies and research that have disprove these myths, but myths have a long-standing way of staying in the public consciousness, and they're still being propagated out there, even though there's a lot of research that shows these things are not true. Just read Monday's Globe on the fact that there's no correlation between increased housing in suburban towns and kids in the school. Nobody will believe that. The concerned citizens, and bear in mind, this is the most educated state in the country, they have not digested or read any of this kind of information, and their opposition is strictly heartfelt assertions like, I don't want my child to be run over. The question is, why do we have this resistance? That's what I want to mention. Our society espouses inclusionary policy, and we're not getting it. I see two things. One, the loss of control when somebody comes in to do development. I'm a real estate developer as well as a consultant. When somebody comes in to do something that's not expected, they lose control of the future, and that's a real fear. But the larger thing that bothers me is density is such an anathema in Massachusetts. It's not just affordability, it's density. Bigger buildings are not in keeping with what the suburban mindset wants to have, and it brings into all the negative effects of that. And density means more people. People are problems. People bring traffic, people bring noise, people bring kids into school. Am I up already? I haven't even got to my conclusion yet.
One sentence, because we can't possibly end on something that dark. Give us the positive note.
I'm expecting the mindset of suburban America and the housing production process to be solved by MIT students. That's my conclusion.